we already talked about that recovery mechanism can be of two types. One is using log-based protocol and another is using the shadow paging. And in the last class, we have talked about the shadow paging in details. There we have seen that shadow paging uses two page tables. One is current page table and another is shadow page table. The current page table is actually resides in the main memory and which is being updated by the transactions. And once this shadow page table is updated, and this is being reflected to the current page table, and current page table is being referred through the to the disk, and that is being pointed to the page table. So that we have already discussed about it, and then we have talked about that recovery mechanisms for concurrent transactions. For concurrent transactions, we have seen that how the recovery mechanism will work. There we have seen that little modification of the checkpoint based policies are required. There we discussed that checkpoint command will also include the list of the active transactions at that moment, and that we have thoroughly discussed. Today we will be discussing about the log record buffering. Okay, so log record buffering actually is a mechanism that log records are buffered in main memory, and instead of being output directly to the stable storage. So log record is buffered in main memory and instead of output to the directly to the stable storage. Log records are output to the stable storage when a block of log records in the buffer is full. So whenever the buffer will be full, that time the log record will be flashed to the stable storage. That means the log force operation will be performed to keep the copy of the log record into the stable storage. So log force is performed to commit a transaction by forcing all its log records, including the commit record, to the stable storage. So that means the transaction will go on recording the executions in the log, and that log will be buffered into the main memory, not to the directly to the stable storage. Whenever that buffer will be full or is going to be full, that time the log record will be forced to write into the stable storage. That operation is called the log force operation. Log force is performed to commit a transaction by forcing all its log records into a stable storage. Several log records can thus be output using a single output operation. That means whenever a transaction or a set of transactions are active, those active transactions are writing on the log record. And instead of keeping a copy to the stable storage all the time, what it does is that this log record buffering, what it does is that it keeps a copy to the stable to the main memory and the buffer block. And once the buffer block is full, in a go, log force operation will be performed to the record into the stable storage, keep the record of the log, the stable storage. And therefore, we can understand that several operations can be saved, because all the times any IO operations is being done by the transactions are not reflected to the stable storage, but it is stored in the main memory. And as soon as the buffer is going to be full, log record buffer is going to be full, that time the log record will be flashed to the stable storage. In that way, that different input-output operations can be reduced, in the sense that the IO operations, different IO operations can be reflected at a single log. Is it clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Here the idea is that instead of every time the transaction commits operation is being done, the or updates is done in the log. Every time that updation is not being reflected to the stable storage, it will be up, it will be reflected to the stable storage once the log buffer is going to be full. Okay, and therefore reduces the several IO operations cost of reducing the IO operations. The rules below must be followed if log records are buffered. Okay. Uh, so the rules below must be followed if the log records are buffered. Log records are output to the stable storage in the order in which they are created. Means the log record will be buffered to the stable storage in which they are created. Transaction TI enters in the commit state only when the corresponding log record for TI commit has been output to the stable storage. So TI transaction TI is thought to be committed only if the corresponding log record of the TI is being reflected. So before a block of data in main memory is output to the database, before a block of the data in the database, all log records pertaining to the data in that block must have been output to the stable storage. So this rule is called the write ahead logging rule or WAL rule. So that means the before a block of data in main memory is output to the database, all the log records pertaining to that data in the block must have been output. That means whenever a block of data in memory is to be output to the stable storage or in the database, the log records which are associated with that data in the block must have been output to the stable storage. That means block of the log records must have been output to the stable storage before the corresponding data of the main memory to output to the data. So this rule is called the write ahead logging rule or WAL. Strictly speaking, the WAL only requires the undo information to be performed. Okay, so now database buffering maintains an in-memory buffer of data blocks. When a new block is needed, the buffer is full and existing block needs to be removed from the buffer. So when a buffer new block is needed, then the existing block needs to be removed from the buffer and be flashed or forced to write into the stable storage. If the block chosen for removal has been updated, it must be output to the disk. As a result of this, the write ahead logging rule, if a block with uncommitted updates is output to disk, the log records with undo information of the updates are output to the log on a stable storage first. That means, as a result of the write ahead rule, which I have already discussed just now, if a block with uncommitted updates is to be output to the disk, then the log records with undo information for the updates are output to the log on a stable storage first. That means that for any uncommitted transactions which are for a log record which needs to be reflected to the stable storage, for that sort of for that sort of transactions, log records with undo information for the updates needs to be output to the log stable storage first. Okay, means the log record which contains the uncommitted transactions must be output first, because if the buffer is going to be full and uncommitted transactions are there present, then the new if a new block is to be written, then that previous uncommitted log will be lost if you do not save a copy, or if you do not force that log to write over a stable storage, because the new log record is going to be created and on the same memory space where the previous block was there, previous log record block was there, and therefore the old block record or the log records which are having the uncommitted transactions needs to be copied first into the stable storage just to avoid the loss of data. Is it clear? Otherwise, what will happen is that if you do not keep a copy in the stable storage of the log, then the previous uncommitted transactions data which are present in the temporary storage of the log record will be lost. Okay. So no update should be in progress on a block when it is output to a disk. So that can be ensured as follows. So no output, no updates should be in progress on a block when it is outputting to the disk. Means whenever a log record is chosen for output to the stable storage, that time no update is permitted to be done into that log record. And that can be ensured in the following manner. Before writing a data item, transaction acquires exclusive log on block containing the data item. Before writing over a data item, transactions acquires an exclusive locking on the block containing that data item. So lock can be released once the write is completed. Such locks held for a short duration are called the latches. Before a lock is output to the disk, the system acquires an exclusive latch on the block and ensures no updates can be in progress on that block. So this is called the log-based buffering, and in that, when a block of log record is outputting the value to the stable storage, that time in this way the no updations to that log record is ensured. Now, database buffer can be implemented either in this following manner. First, one manner is that in an area of real main memory reserved for the database. So in an area of real main memory reserved for the database, or in virtual memory. So either if you reserve a memory space in the database, for the database, or in the virtual memory. Implementing buffer in reserved main memory has some drawbacks. So drawback. Memory is partitioned beforehand between database buffer and the applications, limiting flexibility. Needs may change, and although operating system knows best how many should be divided up at any time, it cannot change the partitioning of the memory. So these are all about the buffer management, how the buffer is buffer management is done. Database buffers are generally implemented in virtual memory in spite of some drawbacks. When operating system needs to evict a page that has been modified to make space for another page, the page is written to swap space on a disk. When a database decides to write buffer page to disk, buffer page must be in swap space and may have to be read from the swap space on disk and output to the database on disk, resulting in extra I/O, known as dual paging problem. So ideally, when swapping out of a database buffer page, operating system should pass control to a database, which in turn outputs pages to a database instead of swap space, making sure to output log records first. So these are all about how we can manage the database management, buffer management is done. So with that, this recovery management ends. So just to summarize, it was a big unit. There, what we have discussed in total is that, just to summarize that whole unit, the recovery system. In the recovery system, we have talked about the different types. We have started discussing the failures of classification, different types of classifications. Then we have talked about the the different recovery algorithms and storage structures. Then we have talked about the two recovery mechanisms. One is using log-based recovery and another is using shadow paging. And under log-based recovery, we have seen that there are two types of log-based recovery. One is deferred database modification policy and another is immediate database modification policy. So then we have discussed about some problems on that immediate database modification and database deferred database modifications. Then we talked about the checkpoints operations. Checkpoint operations are required to limit the searching of the log records in case of the failure. Otherwise, and also limit the log records to a manageable size. There we have discussed that different checkpoint operations with examples. Then we have talked about the shadow paging technique, which is another way of handling recovery. There we have seen that two types of page tables are used, that current page table and shadow page table. And then today we have discussed about the buffer management. Okay, and before that we also discussed that recovery mechanisms using log-based protocols for concurrently executing processes. And today we have discussed about the database buffering. Okay. Actually, that ends this recovery units, and in the next class we will start a new topic. And today, if you have any comments, please you can, or any questions regarding this unit, you can ask me. I'm leaving some time for you to ask me some questions if you have any. I'll be happy to answer. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I hope
Yes,
this
sir.
unit is thoroughly covered. Okay. And if you could not join the live class, so I appeal all of you to go through the recorded video lectures which are already uploaded, okay, in the YouTube channel, Google Drive, and already shared the link with you. I sincerely appeal to you all just to just to go back and brush up those topics once again, so that you can have a clear picture over that. And if you have any questions, I can wait for some time for taking some questions. If you don't have right now any questions, you can post the questions in Google Classroom also. I'll answer your question, comments.